Welcome to the Ultra Street Fighter 4 World Warriors of Capcom Cup Player Showcase Series. My name is Ultra David.
I'm James Chen, and this is to cover the 16 players who are going to be competing at Capcom Cup 2014 on December 13th at the Warfield in San Francisco, which everyone can watch at home on twitch.tv/Capcom Fighters.
Yeah, we want to introduce the players. There will be 16 of them, quite a few. They all have interesting backstories. We want to, kind of introduce them first so that when you watch, you can get an idea of who you're going to see and how they're going to play and how they might match up against other people.
What to expect with these guys. There was 10 events, 10 premier events during the course of 2014 where the person who won the tournament automatically qualified into this event. And then 6 more players who qualified purely by getting points. If you placed high in events all throughout the year, you would accumulate these points, and then in the end, the points totaled not only got 6 people to qualify, but also will determine your seedings as well.
Exactly right. Yeah. So let's talk about somebody who qualified via winning an automatic qualifier, and that was the Southeast Asia Majors, and we're talking about Momochi.
That's right. Momochi. Interesting, probably one of the only Japanese players sponsored by an American esports group. He's sponsored by EG, aka Evil Geniuses, a very prominent Street Fighter team. In fact, I think four EG members are going to be in here, at the Capcom Cup.
That's true. It's a little crazy.
Yeah, so Momochi is part of Team EG. And, he's on there for a very good reason because he's had a lot of success in fighting games even before Street Fighter 4.
He was really, really well known in Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, absolutely, yeah. He played really well there. His team won SBO, aka Togeki, a couple of times, actually, in Third Strike. Very strong player in that. And in Street Fighter 4, he has been extremely strong throughout the lifespan of SF4 as well. Right off the bat, in Street Fighter 4 Vanilla, in the Japanese arcade rankings, he was top 10. And since then, he's been very consistently placing top 8s, top 3s, all over the world.
Yeah, I mean, one of the interesting things about him is that he's very versatile because he's used a bunch of different characters during the course of this time.
Yeah.
So he started with Ken.
Yeah, Ken, Akuma. He played Cody.
Yep.
He played Yun. He went back. So he was playing Cody, right? And then when Arcade Edition came out, Yun was really, really good, and a lot of people knew that, and a lot of people went to Yun, and he was among them, and he did pretty well with Yun, but at EVO, he didn't get top 8. What he did get was a lot of boos.
Yeah. No, people weren't booing Momochi, they're booing the character.
The character,
right?
Yun, absolutely.
He was overpowered in AE, in the original Arcade Edition, and at one point in time, he was playing him, and he got booed for using that character. And he actually said it got to him, and he switched back to Cody because then he found people were cheering for him again.
Well, it worked out. It wasn't just a PR move. He actually won a couple of really big majors with Cody in AE. And after that, he played a lot of Cody. He's back to Ken now, but of course he also has a jury. He even plays DeCapre. He is definitely a versatile player.
Yeah, he's great at every character he touches, and it's largely because, so one of the key concepts of Street Fighter is this idea of spacing, distancing, right? So much of the game, we've compared it a lot before in previous tournaments as a dance. Yeah. 2 people are dancing, that you react to the other person's move, and it's kind of like both players trying to fight to lead the dance in a way, right? And Momochi is one of those people who's so good at controlling distance and playing the neutral game, the little footsie games as we call it. And he's so good at controlling that and taking the lead and keeping it.
I feel like you can really see the Third Strike in his play, which is something that I really like. I'm a big fan of that game. And you can see it's a very footsie heavy game, but it's also a game where you can take risks. Yeah. And it can pay off. And that's essentially how he plays. He plays a great, I think you're right, great spacing game. He also knows when to force risks, when to force gambles. Right. And he's great at capitalizing on those.
Yeah, and it's really going to be interesting because, we've been talking about Yun and everything like that, and sure enough, the match that we're going to show comes from Southeast Asia Majors, right? Right. And this is where he fights Kazunoko, probably the premier Yun player in Japan. in grand finals. And Yun, still, a very strong character in the game. Not as good as he was in AE, but he's still very strong.
A really good character, though.
Yeah, he's a really good character.
Yeah.
And the thing about Yun is that character can be oppressive. He's very offensive, and he has this very large control over the kind of the forward space in front of him because of dive kicks and such.
Yeah.
And you're gonna see how Momochi almost kind of shuts down that game from Yun. This is not an easy thing to do, and somehow he does that, and he just manages to control it so well.
Let's jump into it.
Yeah, sure. All right, once again, remember this is Grand Finals at Southeast Asia Majors.
Yeah, this is already the second set. Momochi came from losers originally, and he reset the bracket.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to see
First to three.
Yeah, and you're going to see how, Yun is going to be really oppressive with the dive kick. So Momochi does such a good job judging the dive kick distance and knowing what counters to have ready for it right at that moment.
Yeah, there's one range.
Mm-hmm.
He used to play the character like we were talking about, so he understands where Yun is safe and where Yun is not actually safe. It might look like it's super easy to raggle in with Yun, but it's actually, you have to space it. You have to space it right like that, with your dive kick landing on the opponent's feet, and watch how good Momochi. Well, there's a big mistake, but watch how good he is at not being in that range.
Mm-hmm. Very fortunate situation there, allows him to get that uppercut. But again, this is a good round to show you what Yun is capable of.
Yeah.
Because this is what he does to you. He just keeps the offense going and traps you. And he can be very scary to deal with, but here comes Momochi.
Yeah, there's the little risk that I was talking about. Also a risk, of course, for wake up crouching short from Kazunoko, but you could see from Momochi's part that he's willing to do that stuff.
Mm-hmm. All right. So again, one of the things that's always a mark of a strong player is how much that they, use the first few rounds, even losses or wins. And again, a risk right there. Step kick into uppercut.
Right.
That's not a combo.
He does. He does have 2 bars, but that's not exactly safe nowadays.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So
just
beautiful.
Great reactions, understanding of where he is on screen.
And he knows too that if he gets dive kicked out of the air, he doesn't get as much damage. So he's willing to go for that air-to-air versus the dive kick a lot more often.
I really like the couple jump backs that he had there to reset the situation to a great range for himself. And he actually moved in forward after that. So Yun has these couple of ranges. Like I said, he wants a space dive kick at the feet. And notice how Momochi is either inside of that range at an uncomfortable spot for Yun or outside of that range entirely. Mm-hmm. Right there. That's an uncomfortable range for Yun. You see Yun blocked afterward because he knows doesn't have advantage. And so Momochi tried to take advantage.
All right, so here we go, in the corner again. Oh, okay. That was kind of a mistimed option select, but you're going to see throughout this video that Momochi, every time he does low jab, he must be option selecting another one. So even if you see low jab, there was an option select in there, because you'll see a couple of times where he catches the backdash with a sweep just out of nowhere. It's crazy. But you can see how Momochi doesn't like standing still.
No, very mobile.
Yeah. He likes to keep active.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and this situation is not going to pay off for him. He's going to lose this first game here. But remember, he already won the first set. You can see the other qualifier, Bonchan, there, talking to him, talking to Kazunoko, trying to give him some advice. But yeah, he's already won the first game, so he does have some momentum here. Wow, that was probably an execution error with that low jab.
Oh yeah, he'll take some risks.
There was one, and
there's 2
again. Definitely willing to do it.
Right now he's in a bad position. Yeah, so he does need to do something to get out. He did, and this is where third strike comes in.
Yeah, this looks very third strike.
That was very third strikey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, getting those Kara throws with Ken. Oh, great whiff punish from him. But see, that's what we mean. We talked about how good his footsie is. And there was one of the option selects
chase
right
down.
there. Yeah, perfect option select on that.
Oh, no DP.
Yeah, he could have punished that.
Yeah.
But very fortunate.
And he doesn't go in too hard. I love that he waited right there, just outside of the crouching kick range from Kazunoko.
I really want to show that footsies again. That throw was just so good on that last one, because you see him back off, and then he comes back forward after he sees the move whiff. Like, watch this right here. He's like, oh, okay.
Right.
That's
right
so
at a crouching
good.
medium kick range.
That's like exemplary footsies right there.
Yeah. You know, if he had been crouching, he would have had to block, because if you crouch, your character gets a little bit wider. So he was standing at this exact spot.
All right. So see, he's jumping forward at him. He's going for these risks. You know, like we said, he's not exactly the safest kind of player.
Yeah.
He's very aggressive.
There you go. A couple of DPs there in the corner. Safe overhead.
All right. Respecting that, because Yun is plus on that situation. Oh no, he's actually a little.
He's +1.
Oh, he's +1. Okay. All right.
Kazunoko himself has a really strong ground game.
Yeah, Kazunoko is definitely a crazy go nuts kind of player, and so you know, to have Momochi be able to, I mean, pretty much going into this match, especially with Momochi coming in from the loser side. Oh, it's beautiful air to air again. But coming from loser side, I kind of remember this when I was watching it the first time when it was happening live. Me and like everybody in the chat were like, "There's no way Momochi's gonna win this. Like Kazunoka's just gonna run all over him because Yun, right?
Right.
And he's already reset it. And again, this is just a testament of how much he's able to kind of control the situation. A crazy player like Kazunoko, and yet he's still able to keep up with him. And again, this is the kind of round that you expect from Yun.
Yeah, sometimes this is going to happen. You can't get too upset about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, there you go. And you know what? You just have to, that's a bitter pill to swallow, but you take it and it's fine.
No big deal. You can see him matching on the A button there to try to get to the next round. He's ready. Oh, nice punish.
Again,
yeah, you see him trying to space out. I mean, if EX lunge comes in, fine. I mean, you can hit it on the way, but if you block it, then you're screwed. But he is putting himself at a range where he can deal with dive kick, most importantly.
Right. But you saw him right there in a 50-50 situation. He went for the uppercut. Didn't work for him, but then he just went back into an uppercut again, and it did work. So, again, oh, there it is, right there.
That's what we're talking about.
Who option selects after a dive kick like that, but whenever he's hitting low jab, he must be going for it.
Sometimes you pay. Sometimes you pay big.
Yep. And see, this is one of those moments here where you just reset it, and then all of a sudden Kazunoko comes and just like runs over you with a steamroller like this. Lesser players would kind of crumble in this situation.
Oh, like we said, he's been playing for a long time. He has a lot of very, very high level experience, having won big tournaments, got second at big tournaments. He doesn't get rattled.
Yeah, and you saw it from his facial expression. Very focused, very concentrating. In fact, if you've seen him play live, he is very expressionless when he plays. He has game face on constantly.
Well, he's having to deal with some interesting little adaptations from Kazunoko. Kazunoko has seen that Momochi's done a great job of shutting down dive kicks. So Kazunoko is doing normal jumps, and he's doing very short, early dive kicks. And so he's kind of allowed Momochi to shut down that side of his game. So you're seeing Momochi now having to deal with a little bit different style than at the start.
Yeah, and I still love Momochi going air to air. That's so hard to do. That is a hard reaction right there. You really have to have a read to get that. Okay, and just trying to keep alive here in the corner. Yeah, there it is.
God. So he's in the air in 4 frames. Yeah. And then it takes another 5 frames for his jump roundhouse to come out. Mm-hmm. So that's a 9-frame move, which is not super fast.
Yep. But like I said, he's waiting for it.
Yes.
There was that one dive kick, so he's thinking to himself, Kazunoko probably wants a dive kick again to try to chip me out or something. And so he was just waiting for it. As soon as he saw him go up in the air, that was all he needed to jump up in the air himself and air-to-air intercept him.
It's a really good counter because that jump roundhouse stays out for quite a while. It comes out pretty quickly as far as air attacks go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see, he's trying to stay at the distance, like right there. Let me go back a little bit for a second. When you see Kazunoko neutral jump, you sometimes see Momochi just walk backwards. See, that time it was a forward jump, so he got him. But watch this, on the neutral jump, see how he just kind of backs off and then right forward. So he pulls himself out of the dive kick range and then immediately puts himself right back into offense range.
Yeah, as soon as he sees that it's not a dive kick, he goes back in.
Mm-hmm. So really smart spacing there. Again, backing out of the range of that dive kick. But when he's in that range, when he's in the dangerous range, he knows and he just blocks.
Right.
He respects the danger.
But go back a little bit because to when he blocked that dive kick, because I love how he deals with it. when he does have to block dive kicks. He knows exactly when a dive kick is advantaged or not afterward. Mm-hmm. And when it's not, he's taking control almost every time with crouching jab, something like that. Here, watch, it's coming up just about here. Right there. He knows that dive kick on his head is not actually safe. Mm-hmm. Again, not punishable necessarily, but not a great spot for Yun to be in. And so Momochi knows and takes advantage.
Yeah, he had the jab option selecting the sweep all ready to go. Because a lot of times when Yuns know that the dive kick isn't safe, one of the favorite things I like to do is just backdash to safety. And he was able to catch that with a beautiful option select.
Again.
And there again, that was an option select again. You didn't see the sweep, but that's because there was no backdash that time. Again, respecting the offense from Yun and just trying to keep that distance off.
That's just a read. Yeah. That's just a straight up read.
There was no way he knew that.
No. No. I mean, there's nothing to react to. He jumped at about the same time that Yun did.
Yeah, no one's reaction.
You don't have negative reaction time, right? It takes a certain amount of time for a human being to see something. So, but it's a read. And like we've seen, he is willing to make those reads.
Because if he didn't jump, he would have just jumped, kicked in the air, and been punishable on the way down.
Right.
But, he's noticed Kazunoko. I mean, he shut down the backdash. There was the one time he didn't backdash and he ended up blocking a bunch of jabs. Probably reading that Kazunoko was really uncomfortable when they get close up like that, so he wanted to jump away, and he just had
one thing also that I really like about this style in particular against a Yun is that it's tough for Yun to deal with. Something that Yuns do sometimes after those dive kicks is just a dragon punch, of their own dragon punch.
Oh, right.
Just to maintain pressure. And that is a way to shut down the opponent's defense. Sometimes you're going to get punished for that, but it's important that the opponent knows that that's an option, right? But because Kazunoko has seen Momochi take these risks, right? Dragon punch here, dragon punch there, jump roundhouse out of the blue, focus level 3, things like that. He I think he doesn't love being in that spot where maybe otherwise in another matchup against another player he would be. So Momochi I think has done a great job of shutting down that side of Yun's game.
Yeah, by going kind of crazy with the wheel of options, he's mitigating Kazunoko's craziness because now going crazy a lot of times with Yun is you're taking advantage of the opponents getting scared. Yeah. Right? And Momochi obviously has not been scared. He's willing to throw stuff out, and that puts that seed of doubt.
He's been the scary one.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And look, it hasn't always paid off. Okay, here we're in the final game, and a couple of games that he lost in this second set, he whiffed the dragon punch and he died for it. So it's not 100% success rate, but that style has really helped him get into the grand finals and reset grand finals, right? And now be into the final game.
If he played way more defensive without those crazy dragon punches, Kazunoko would just be able to do whatever he wants to him. So it's actually been benefiting him to go a little risky like that. So
all right, well let's check out the final game here.
Here you go. See Bon-chan giving him some more advice. Last game. Here we go. A lot of situations have seen uppercut, very bleak situations for Momochi, but he's just keeping going with what he is intended.
Ooh, that was tricky.
Yeah, that was a fake cross-up hurricane.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he just landed from the front and caught him with a full combo.
Nice little punish.
Beautiful punish there. And here he goes. Now he's going for his offense.
Yeah,
wow.
he could. So what he's also really good at is feeling those moments. We've seen a couple of those situations where he threw a bunch of times in the corner, and then right there, it was time to go in, and he went in.
Yep.
So he's 1 round away now for qualifying from Capcom Cup. I wonder what ends up happening. Again, a range where Yun's not. Yeah, great safe jump.
And then he went for another uppercut. You saw that? He did an FADC, and then he uppercutted again.
So that's really getting into Kazunoko's. Okay, finally Kazunoko with his own wake up. I feel like Kazunoko is not really playing his own game right now. He's playing a game that Momochi's forced him to.
Yeah, you see walk up focus. Like you don't see Yuns do this a lot.
Right? Yeah, no. Yeah, he is really scared to go in with the dive kicks because they've been shut down so consistently. And even after that happens, Momochi has done such a good job of taking control when the dive kicks are not spaced perfectly.
Like, even like you said, when he lands a dive kick, it's been like 50-50 whether or not it's paid off for him.
Right.
And that's why he just,
look at that.
Perfect punish, yeah. And I think that's why Kazunoko just hasn't felt like, that the dive kick has been that effective. Oof, overhead.
There it is.
Chip damage.
There it is. Momochi qualifies. You can see he's pretty happy about it, of course.
Yeah.
So he wins Southeast Asia Majors and defeats Kazunoko to do it. And like I said, I was really impressed at the style that he played to convince Kazunoko to not play the kind of optimal pressure-heavy, dive kick-heavy Yun style. He forced Yun onto the ground more.
Right.
He forced Yun into normal jumps more, and into not pressing buttons when he got close.
Right, and keep in mind, again, that was only the second set. He had to do this 2 sets in a row. And to be able to fight a player like Kazunoko, I mean, it's funny, too, because when you see a lot of conversations between the top players in Japan, they all like to tease Kazunoko for a player who kind of goes crazy, right?
Right.
And so, to be able to do this 2 sets in a row, and I think they both went 3-2.
Right.
Right? They both went 3-2. So to be able to accomplish that, I mean, it's just one of those situations where you feel like if you play Yun in a bunch of, first to 3 sets, there's just going to be sometimes you're just going to get beat 3-0. And you just kind of accept that. But Momochi, able to do this twice, and I don't know, I just don't see a lot of players coming out on top in that situation. Yeah. Especially with a character like Ken, who I feel like Yun, does really well against. So
yeah, he played it perfectly. I mean, maybe not perfectly because it was 3-2, 3-2, okay,
yeah.
But he played it extremely well.
Well, but see, here's the thing, right? You look at the 3-2, 3-2, and you're like, okay, it was super close, like you guys are making it sound like he was super impressive. No, but you know what? Because he was able to take those risks, it would go back and forth like that. But if you didn't take those risks, then Yun does get to pull all of his shenanigans and all of his offensive mix-ups and command throws. Like, we never saw Yun even land a command throw.
It happened a couple of times, but it was rare.
Yeah.
It was rare.
I mean, that's one of his main offenses, because when he gets people scared, he gets to command throw them and beat you up with that. And so if you don't play that way, you might get beat up even worse than by playing this risky game, which allows you to win 3-2.
I think that was certainly his thought, and I think that's what happened.
Yeah,
that's
what
he did.
And so Momochi, again, part of Team Evil Geniuses. EG is going to be one of 4 EG players at Capcom Cup.
Right.
And, that team, they are on a tear. They are a dominating Street Fighter team, and I can't imagine that Momochi's, I can only imagine that he's going to do super well at Capcom Cup. So.
Yeah, he's going to be one of the more interesting styles to watch, I think. And I'm interested to see, too, whether he sticks with Ken or whether he goes to, he has a jury. We're talking about jury. DiCaprio, I wonder if he's kept that up. So, it'll be interesting to see. I don't know that maybe he will, but it'll be interesting to see whether he goes with Ken only or tries some other stuff. And
yeah, I mean, I know
certainly capable of it.
There's a lot of people who are fans of his who are Ken players, and we've already seen how he can be affected a little bit by, what people want to see, the switch from Yun to Cody. So, it'd be cool to see him represent Ken at Capcom Cup. So,
I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that'll be on December 13th. You can catch it by going to the Warfield in San Francisco or by watching at home on twitch.tv/Capcom Fighters.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel so that way you get notification as soon as it starts up. It's going to be super fun. It's going to be a super exciting event.
And if you like hearing and watching Street Fighter analysis or fighting game analysis in general, you can check out our own work. It's on youtube.com/UltraChenTV and twitch.tv/UltraChenTV, where we do this sort of thing. We analyze games. We also talk all about news and sort of general happenings in fighting games.
Yeah, like on a weekly basis, we talk about what's going on in the FGC, the fighting game community. And we also try to gear, stuff towards beginners and to people, basically people trying to get into the game and then people trying to refine their game. We try to cover the whole gamut. So, yeah.
All right, well, thanks for watching. We'll see you at Capcom Cup.